Hello and welcome to Sports Review on iBrandTV. It's a pleasure to have you join us on this show as always. We'll be talking about the Super Eagles game that is going down right there in Freetown, Sierra Leone later today. It's a big one that we're expecting to see fireworks in. We'll talk about that on this show today, and we'll still talk about some other things that are going on in the world of sports. There's athletics, there's tennis. Sad story from athletics. We'll be taking a look at that, and of course other AFCON games that are going down. Don't go anywhere. When we come back from this break, we'll dive right into all of these stories. I'll be your host. My name is Jidechi Chides here. Welcome back. You're still locked on to Sports Review right here on iBrandTV. Now let's start off the show with the story of the Super Eagles. You know they are expected to take on the Lone Stars of Sierra Leone later today at the Siaka Stevens Stadium in Freetown right there in Sierra Leone. The Super Eagles, they threw away a 4-goal lead to end their game in Benin City 4-4 on Friday, and many people are unhappy. They are unhappy that the Super Eagles had to toe that part on Friday. Well, another chance today to take on this side and hopefully qualify the team, because a win in today's game means we are going to qualify for the AFCON 2020 that is holding right there in Cameroon. Now we'll be talking about the Super Eagles, and joining us on the show today is Oluwajoba Ogunwole. Joba is the chief editor at soccernet.ng, and Joba is also a football and tennis expert. Welcome to the show, Joba. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the show today.
Yeah, thank you, Jidechi, for having me on the show. I look forward to speaking with you on the Super Eagles and the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers.
Thank you, Joba. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the show. Now let's start off with the game that went down right there at Benin City on Friday. It ended 4-4. Well, it was a draw, not in favor of anybody. 1 point shared right there in Benin City. The sad one is that they had to come from behind to equalize this game that was 4 goals at 20 minutes. Joba, how was your reaction after that game on Friday?
It was one of the shocks. Even though we didn't lose that game, we actually drew the game, but it was actually a shock because as at the 30th minute, everyone was asking that, okay, how many goals would the Super Eagles score? Because I think we scored in the first 29 minutes. We scored 4 times in the first 29 minutes. So I think there was a lapse in concentration from the players. Probably they thought the game was over. So Sierra Leone pulled one back 4 minutes before the break. And the last 20 minutes, I actually don't understand what was going through Raw's mind, because it showed that the momentum was with the Sierra Leoneans then. And I expect Raw to make some tactical changes then, but I couldn't see anything, and we paid dearly for it. It was for the neutrals, it was a beautiful game, but for Nigerians, it was a disappointing result. To me, it feels like a loss to me.
Yeah, a loss, that one. Now, let's talk about Genotro for a minute. Do you think that this man is still the man for the job? A lot of people hold the reservation that Genotro should get the boot right now. Do you think Raw is still the man for the Super Eagles job?
You know, it's actually funny you said that, because when there was this war argument about his contract renewal, I wrote something about it that it's actually the best person we have because of what he has brought in since he arrived in 2016. He has brought in stability and everything. But after his renewal, the 2 games we played against Algeria and Tunisia last month. Then we played against Sierra Leone also this month. Also, it hasn't really been a convincing performance from the Super Eagles. Then his selection has been actually questionable also. For example, look at the Sierra Leone game. He invited just 4 midfielders out of the 24-man squad, you understand? And of the 4 midfielders, 1 was a defender, another one, Frank Oyeka, pulled out. So we had just two midfielders, you understand? So I think probably maybe he has done enough. He has reached his peak, and he can't take us forward anymore. So that's what I believe.
Okay, they take on Sierra Leone later today right there at the Siaka Stevens Stadium in Freetown. Joba, do you think, well, considering Friday's game, do you think the Super Eagles can possibly win this one and qualify for the AFCON that's coming right there in Cameroon? Or do you think it's going to be another possible disappointment for the Super Eagles?
Going into the game, I think we are favorites. But speaking in his pre-match press conference on Monday, he complained about the pitch and everything because the pitch was actually it was kind of bumpy. It wasn't something that the Nigerian players are used to, or like their European clubs. So what I think right now is that we are actually the favorites, and I think they want to probably redeem their image following that disastrous 4-4 draw. But I think the pitch could play a major role. But I still expect the Super Eagles to come out on top. It may not be comfortable, but I still expect them to come out on top.
Okay, so what do you think is the possible starting 11 for today's game? Do you think it's going to be the same team that faced Sierra Leone on Friday, or do you think another team would be expected to take on the Sierra Leonean side in today's game?
Yeah, I think there will be a couple of changes. Ross said it also. Victor Osimhen is out, so Onachu should be the natural replacement, but it's obvious that Raw is actually not his fan and not a fan of his style. So we could see Kelechi Iheanacho lead the line for the Super Eagles. Then in goal, I think Maduka Okoye, though he wasn't at fault for the 4 goals, but I think we might see Daniel Akpeyi in goal coming to replace Okoye. Then probably play Semi Ajayi because we lack that natural defensive midfielder in the first leg. So he might play Semi Ajayi as a DM on Tuesday. So those are the kind of changes I expect from the German tactician.
Okay, now let's move over from the Super Eagles that are playing in Siaka Stevens Stadium today and talk about the other games that are going on in Africa right now. Yesterday, some games went down all across Africa, qualifying games yesterday. And on Monday, Swaziland played Congo and that one ended in a goalless draw. Malawi took on Burkina Faso, that one also ended in a goalless draw. Sao Tome and Principe in Group C took on South Africa, and South Africa were able to come off that one 4-2 winners, Sao Tome having a red card in that game. South Sudan took on Uganda. Both sides had a red card in that game, but South Sudan came off victors in that one, ended 1-0 in favor of the Sudanese side. Zimbabwe took on Algeria, that one ended in a 2-all draw. Botswana took on Zambia, ended in a 1-all draw in favor of Botswana. In Group D, it was Gambia and Gabon. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's side, him and his teammates, sadly for them, they lost that one to Gambia 2-1. They are currently on top of the group, well, second in that group, 7 points alongside Gambia, who are now top of the group. Mozambique took on Cameroon, the host of the tournament in 2021. They lost that one, ended 2-0 in favor of Mozambique. Now to the fixtures on Tuesday, Ethiopia takes on Niger Republic, one of the games going down in Group K. Lesotho takes on Benin Republic. Group L, one of that games in Group L. Madagascar takes on Cote d'Ivoire. Rwanda takes on Cape Verde. Group F, that one is going to be happening. Sudan and Ghana will be slugging it out right there. One of the Group C games. Ghana currently top of the group in Group C, 9 points alongside South Africa. Angola takes on DR Congo in Group D, and Central Africa Republic takes on Morocco. Sierra Leone takes on Nigeria, one of the games that the game we talked about, the big one for us that are Nigerians, goes down in Group L at the Siaka Stevens Stadium right there in Sierra Leone. Togo takes on 7-time African champions Egypt. Mohamed El Neni is already out on that one. He's said to have COVID-19 at the moment. Namibia takes on Mali, that one going down, one of the games from Group A. And Tanzania and Tunisia slugging it out right there in Tanzania. Group J, that one is going down. We'll be going on a quick break right now. And when we return from this break, we'll dive right into other things that are not football. It's going to be athletics and tennis. We'll be talking about what's going on in these two fields of sports. Don't go anywhere. When we return from this break, we'll dive right into all of this.
I'll tell you about the good life. The good life is financial freedom. The capacity to live life to the full without the lack of resources to bring your dreams to life. Financial freedom is your one-stop ticket to your dream lifestyle. And I'll tell you how to make it happen. How to make money and be financially free in a world where it is hard to get a chance to life. You need knowledge. Knowledge on the new market shift and the new channels that hubs today's global wealth. Bonds, shares, e-commerce, forex trading, guide to cryptocurrencies, the new school for residual income, and the good life. The world as we know it has changed. Let us change with it. Join the Soulmax Global class and learn the new school for making money. Your power to earning is knowledge.
Welcome back. You're still locked on to Sports Review right here on iBrandTV. I hope you didn't go anywhere. Now let's take a dive from football and talk about athletics for a minute. It's not good news coming from athletics, I'll tell you. Even sadder is the fact that it involves an African. His name is Conseslus Kipruto, the 25-year-old Kenyan world champion, Olympic champion. Kipruto is a 3,000-meter steeplechase athletics champion, won gold at the Rio Olympics right there in Brazil in 2016. Well, the sad news right now is that Kipruto was charged to court over what is called the defilement of a 15-year-old girl. Yes, you had me right. It's 15-year-old girl. But Kipruto on his own side is pleading not guilty to these charges. He was at the magistrate court right there in Kapsabet in Kenya, his hometown, over the week, and he's saying he's not guilty to such charges. They are alleging that he defiled a 15-year-old girl. Kipruto is saying, no, I didn't do this. He denied the charges like I told you, but he was released on bail, about $1,800 bond, and he was released on bail. The case is expected to be back in court later in 2021. Kipruto already saying, I did not do this. The thing about this is that if Kipruto loses this case later, it comes up in May 2021, and that's just 2 months before the Olympics in 2021. You remember the Olympics was moved from 2020 to 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic that struck this year. Kipruto is expected to defend his title at the Olympics that is coming up in Tokyo in 2021. If he loses this case that is coming up in May, just 2 months before the Olympics, it means Kipruto wouldn't be going to the Olympics. Kipruto is a reigning double world champion of the 3,000-meter steeple race, of the current champion of the world, and also the Olympic champion. So is it going to be to court and possibly to prison for Kipruto by 2021, or to the Olympics for Kipruto in 2021? A sad one, I must tell you. Now let's move over from athletics and talk about tennis. The ATP finals is going down right there at the O2 Arena in London, and two men are making their marks already at the tournament. Daniil Medvedev and Novak Djokovic. The two of them were able to win their games yesterday, and Djokovic is expected to equal Roger Federer's record of 6 ATP final titles that Federer has been able to do. If Djokovic can do it, Djokovic currently on 5. If he can do it, it means he equals what Federer has been able to do at the ATP finals. He took on his opponent, an Argentine debutant, Diego Schwartzman, and that one ended 6-3, 6-1 right there at the O2 Arena in London. Hopefully Djokovic can be able to overcome his next opponent and continue to do so till the final, and possibly for him equal Federer's record. The other man who made waves for himself at the ATP finals yesterday was the man they called Daniil Medvedev. We discussed about Medvedev some weeks back when he was able to overcome his opponent at the Paris Masters finals, Alexander Zverev. Zverev was the 5th seed at the Paris Masters finals, and Medvedev, for the first time in his career, was able to get that one at the Paris Masters. Medvedev did his own game. In his own game, he was able to win 6-3, 6-4, and now on to the next round. Can Medvedev be able to do it and make it to the finals of the ATP finals that is going down right there in London? Possibly we get to see a final that could boast of Djokovic and Medvedev. Well, they are not the only big names in that competition. Lots and lots of big names in that one, but I tell you, it will be a pleasure, it will be a wonderful thing to see Medvedev and Djokovic possibly square in the finals of the ATP finals. This is where we'll be calling it a wrap on today's edition of the show. Yes, I know you want more, but sadly this is where we'll call it a wrap on today's edition of the show. Don't forget the big one goes down right there at the Steven Siaka Stadium. Well, I try to say Stephen Keshi most times. The Stephen Keshi Stadium is in Asaba. This one is called the Siaka Stephen Stadium, right there in Freetown in Sierra Leone. The Super Eagles will be hoping they can put away the horrors of Friday's 4-4 draw at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium that went down right there in Benin City on Friday. They'll be hoping they can do better than that and possibly qualify Nigeria for the AFCON that is going on right there in Cameroon later in 2021. The coach of the side, Gernot Roy, is talking tough. He's saying lots and lots of things. Lots of players are saying lots and lots of things. Ahmed Musa has already apologized on behalf of the players, and he's saying that we are sorry, we will do better. Today is a chance for them to do better. Do they get to do better? Well, only 5 p.m. will answer that question. We'll call it a wrap here. We'll be back some other time because he that fights and runs away lives to fight another day. Sports might be over for now, but sports will be again on your screen another day. Until next time I come your way, ensure you stay safe. My name is Judechi Chideze. Do have a pleasant day ahead.